welcome to the Essential Six, your regular 6-minute update on all things relevant relating to the economy and world trade. I'm Simon Hart, lead international partner at RSM UK, and I'm again joined by Joe Brusuelas, chief economist at RSM US. Hi Joe, how are you doing?
Very good, Simon. How are you doing today?
Yeah, it's not too bad in this COVID environment of changeability. I think let's just leave it at that. Changing world. I mean, I was looking at a recent article that CNN Business published that you reported on just the other day, which was all COVID related, but talking about the number of new business formations in the US being at a 10-year high, which surprised me.
That's correct.
Why is that?
Well, you know, in the Anglo-American economies have a rich and deep history of entrepreneurship. And when you tend to see recessions, especially deep recessions, there's no alternative for some individuals other than to turn to self-employment. Now, here in the United States, compared to January 2020, small businesses are operating at about 20% below capacity. Revenues are down about 25%. So when you take a look at this, 20% of those small businesses that are not opening, at this point, you know, it's been close to a year now. They're not going to come back. I think we have to come to that conclusion. So those firms employ talented individuals who know how to run these businesses and know how to go get this business. So they're just stepping in to fill the void, essentially, and they're turning to self-employment because there's little opportunity to do much else. So while you always see this and think, well, it's a double-edged sword, right? Things are difficult, but we're seeing an increase in business formations. And at least here in the US, we know that some of our most successful firms, whether it be Microsoft or Amazon, were often started at the depths of very deep recessions.
Yeah, absolutely, in the 1970s. I think we're seeing exactly the same thing over here. Probably not to that same level, but it's one that we should be basically keeping an eye on because that entrepreneurialism in the Anglo-US market is so profound.
Is really going to be important in the United Kingdom going forward, Simon, because of the turmoil surrounding Brexit. There's going to be some disruptions that we've all talked about, and I think everyone knows, right? And since Britain voted just to essentially get on with it, they're going to absorb the cost. There will be disruptions, and there's going to have to be some turn to self-entrepreneurship by individuals who find themselves either made redundant or the business disruptions have caused severe changes inside the UK economy.
Well, I guess we're not really seeing that at this stage because UK GDP for August was only just published last week, which showed a 2.1% increase for the month, which in pre-COVID times, if this was 2019, this would be a bonanza, but it was 50% of what a number of market commentators were expecting. Was that a surprise to you? Because it certainly came as a bit of a shock here.
Well, it was significant underperformance following the collapse in second quarter GDP. One would have expected to see a much more robust rebound, but that didn't happen. And I think that's for a couple of reasons. First is you had a late summer resurgence in the virus, and obviously we're going to be talking about selective lockdowns and hopefully smart lockdowns over the next couple months. Second, you know, there's been a real difficult time inside the Johnson administration figuring out exactly how they want to move forward, both on dealing with the domestic economy around the pandemic and then the lingering issues around Brexit. I think they combined just to damp what might have been a much more robust set of summer spending by British households. It just didn't really materialize.
Well, consumer confidence is still rather challenged over here. And I think the whole point of this coalescence of Brexit negotiations between the UK and the EU with the regional lockdown restrictions potentially coming in even this week is again dampening down. What's your forecast then for GDP in the UK for say September?
Well, you should be double to more. If you're going to get 2.5%, you should be up at 5%. I mean, this is when you really should be moving out. But look, until we get a real handle on what's going to go on in Brexit, how the Johnson administration wants to handle the second wave of the virus, well, it's going to be difficult to make those forecasts in general. You should see some improvement, but it's not going to be what you really want, and we won't get that till we get more certainty around how the administration is going to handle both of those. I can tell you what, Wall Street Journal on Sunday over here ran a very provocative story saying that the Bank of England has asked the banks to get ready for a potential round of negative interest rates. That gives you a sense of what I would call the last man standing. The Bank of England is beginning to think about with respect to what later this year and early next year might look like in the UK economy.
Look, we've got 30 seconds left. We talked about negative interest rates in our last 6-minute briefing. That's clearly going to happen, isn't it? I don't see anything that's going to change that.
It's very difficult to see a situation where if you get a disorderly Brexit in a second wave, the Bank of England won't turn to negative interest rates.
Okay, Joe, time's up. I'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time. Appreciate that.
You got it. Thank you.